Hey folks, good evening. It's Monday, the 3rd of June, 2019. I thought it'd be good to shove a quick video update in here. And yes, I'm enjoying some Stan Getz in the background, so hopefully you guys enjoy that as well. How could you not like Stan Getz? Tell you what, if you don't like Stan Getz, there's something wrong. Anyway, so relatively short video update. I won't be posting, not likely, an update Tuesday or Wednesday. Maybe towards the end of the week I'll do an update. I'm going to be rather busy this week. So here's the Greedometer 13 sequence, and I'm showing this week here, and I'm actually forecasting next week. But you know, don't put a whole lot of weight in what happens this week or next week, because I'm just taking a shot at something, but I don't put a lot of weight in this week's or next week's end value because let's look at the there you go, mini Greedometer sequence. So what does this show? There's last week's mini Greedometer value, and that's not completely nailed down. There's one more input parameter that I'm going to get tomorrow, and then that'll be a known quantity. But at this stage, I'm not going to be off by much. This is going to be pretty damn close to what it is. Anyway, so with last week's close at 27.53, that's pretty much going to be the mini Greedometer value for last week. Now, there is about a 60-odd% chance that this week generates a mini Greedometer value a smidge lower than last week, and basically sort of creates a more or less parallel with the baseline. That's, well, is it 60%? I don't know, 50. Let's just say 50. In my view, there's a small chance that this week's mini Greedometer value is appreciably lower, like not there, but a little bit, generating a slightly steeper baseline than that. Pretty good chance, 50-odd% that it probably generates a mini Greedometer value a little lower than last week, what I'm showing here. And 30-40% chance that it generates one, a bit higher, like about there, something in this kind of a range for this week. So, pretty decent chance that this VIX closes this week pretty darn close to what it did last week. Like a 0.5% higher, 0.5% lower. Either way, it's going to generate likely a mini Greedometer value, a smidge lower, and generating that baseline like that. Okay. Regardless of what happens this week, whether it's a little bit lower or almost the same or a bit higher, what we're looking for is this. What we're looking for is this first baseline point to be set, right? And that's either going to be last week or, in parallel again this week. And you're not going to know until you get that next week mini Greedometer value that's appreciably higher. And you go, then you look in your rearview mirror and go, yep, that's the first baseline point. Right? So the price of admission to using this system is you got to have the birth point, check. Pretty much got to have a first top line point, check. And you need a first baseline point. And we potentially have it from last week, but we don't know. Okay, got to have this week's value, and then we can begin to forecast with this with fairly high confidence / low risk. So let's talk about this scenario for a bit. It's pretty much the same thing that I showed last week, right? What am I showing? I'm suggesting that I'm anticipating that a month-ish from now, we're going to get some form of sugar bomb being dropped by the Fed or maybe the ECB, or the commander in tweet will, I don't know, say we're going to start threatening more stupid freaking tax cuts that aren't funded. But anyway, something like that. So in the next month or so, there'll be a warp a little flatter. First of all, we'll establish this, the first baseline, which will be awesome. That'll be something concrete from which to apply further perturbations or warps, right? Depending on whatever is thrown at us. So yeah, probably a month and a half, 2 at the most from now, we'll have some form of someone will blink and drop a sugar bomb, causing this to get a little flatter. And then a couple or 3 months after that, there'll be someone else who will blink. It'll be something big, and like that, and then again and again, right? I don't know that we'll get that many warps, but we're gonna get one for sure, and maybe 2. I don't know about 3 or 4. In either case, we're likely to end up with a baseline probably about here-ish, to here-ish in steepness, and the top line looking something like that. And I think that the top line will probably, like I said before, probably basically extend to the election point in time. And then what happens after that depends on who wins. If Democrats wins, then this is what happens. And if the Republicans win, then that's probably the end of that story, and there'll be more stupid, unfunded tax cuts, irresponsible tax cuts, and then that'll cause another holiday, and we'll get another sequence from there. But that won't cause much of a holiday. It'll cause a month or two, and then cause another drop after that. At some point in time, this is probably going to come into play. At some point in time, I don't know where. It'll probably, depending on how close we. I'll tell you what. When mini greedometer values get 15-ish, 10, 12, 15-ish, that's when something new and epic and very yummy will get threatened. Now, is that going to happen in November, December? Or is it going to happen in first quarter? Is it going to happen in second quarter? Well, it depends on how much things get warped, doesn't it? Right? And at this stage, we're basically just down to, I don't know. I don't know how much longer we're going to go until the Fed begins backing away from, and from any more rate hikes. Well, never mind, we already did that, but I don't know how longer we're going to go until the Fed starts saying, hey, we're going to start lowering rates, right? Probably not that long. Probably that's going to be what happens here in the next month or two, okay? What are these R's? These are meant to be initiation points in time for U.S. to enter recession, okay? I should point this out. If the U.S., so if this were allowed to continue unfettered and there were no more sugar bombs and there were no more commander-in tweeting, then yeah, we'd probably enter recession around September-ish. Now I will say this, if we enter recession in September-ish or so this year, because this is what our future looks like, do not count on the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the branch of the Commerce Department that's has the job of estimating GDP and the economy and GDP growth. Don't look for any data to be published from the BEA until at least 6 months after this point in time. And by then, geez, thanks for nothing. Stock market will be full on decline. And the sky will basically be falling, and then the BEA will say, well, kind of fess up, yeah, we probably ended a recession back there. You can't really blame them. I mean, you can't, no one in a position of power or official position, no one will ever fess up or admit to an economic weakness until it's way into the rearview mirror, or completely, you can't deny it. Then they'll fess up. Because that's what happened last time, right? Last time the U.S. entered recession in December 2007, it was almost 11 months later before the BEA admitted that we entered recession. Of course, by then the stock market had been cut in half, and the banking system had to be saved. And then they said, "Oh yeah, recession." Anyway, but that's the way it goes. Longer video than I intended. So anyway, stuff to chew on. And I remind again, folks, that this system is based on SPIC's weekly close prices forecast, and you have to have this, and this observed. And when you have those observed, then you can lock this whole thing in. And maybe we're there now. I don't know. We need to see this week close out and see what happens here, and then we'll know whether that was the first baseline point, or is it this week a little lower, or about there, okay? Then on with the show. So after this week, at least 3 more weeks, if not 4 or 5, before we make it to the top line. And is that a magic number? No, it's not. Is cutting with an axe? It's about like that. I expect the SPICs to climb back up to around there-ish, 3, 4, 5 weeks from now. And then I expect another warp, and then I'll get pushed higher, and we'll get back and sort of retest these sorts of highs, and maybe another sugar bomb will be massive, and then we'll actually get up to there in July, August, and then that's the end of the story. Then that's what happens. All right, I'm busy. I gotta go. You folks have a great evening.